to the stage?
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. Not as organised as I would like to be, but it's amazing to be here. And I was going to be coming and sitting on that side this morning as a guest. So it's very exciting to get the message to see if I would fill in this morning. Because it's just a fantastic day. And also the theme this year, Create the Bias, as we know, is so important. So I'm going to give you a little bit of my take on that today, but also as a woman myself and a mother and a wife and a businesswoman, I have faced my own bias in the past, but what I really want to talk about today, because I'm massively passionate about personal development and women knowing their worth, and being able to bounce back as well against that bias, is to talk more about that side of things, and also some of the bias that we often carry ourselves between our own two ears of the mindset. Who knows how long it'll take for bias to totally diminish, but as long as we feel worthy of, in ourselves, and we keep showing up for ourselves, that's the main thing. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. My name is Michelle Vodden. I'm 39 years old. I am born and bred Driffield, just down the road, so half an hour away from here, and I grew up there and then went off to study dance, and I'll tell you a little bit about my story later, but I'm a mother of 4, so I've just done the school run. My youngest is 2 and my eldest is 10, and my kids are absolutely my world, and being a mum has always been my number one priority. But my lifestyle and career has had to change dramatically so that I can fit into that present parent way of living, which has been such a blessing. But it's not been easy, and it's been about getting uncomfortable and taking risks and going in different directions. And so it probably surprised some people today, but if 10 years ago, if someone had asked me to do this, there is not a chance I would be able to stand here and speak in front of you. So that is why personal development is something that I'm so passionate about, and I want to give you some tools to take away today. So rather than just tell you my life story, which you might be able to take some nuggets away from, I want you to get tools that you can take and you can use them every single day, so you can show up as the best version of yourself, that person that you can be, and it's there and it's inside somewhere, but sometimes we've just got to chip away from the external things and all those maybe negative feelings that we have about ourselves that have been imprinted on us sometimes from being this high. Okay, so let's start. First thing I want to speak about really is there's a big difference between constantly trying to prove ourselves as women and then actually trying to prove our worth, compared to knowing our worth, because that way you're going to show up regardless of what other people are saying, and it's our role to do that, absolutely. And many of us do play a lot smaller than we know that we're capable of, and it's because we carry these limiting beliefs. It's a shocking fact that most people have already formed those beliefs by the age of 5, 6, 7. So how many times, and I'm guilty of this, especially with 4 children, but how many times do we hear, no, you can't do that, oh, that's risky, please be careful, don't do that, that's too dangerous, that's not safe enough. And we have these limiting beliefs, and then we grow up and we go to school, and we're in that kind of regimented system, and then we go to work, and we start to sometimes build this wall around us of limiting beliefs, whether that's, well, I'm not confident to do that, or no one I know has ever succeeded to that skill, I'm too shy. Mine was always, I'm going to have a dance career because I'm too shy to actually speak in front of people. So to stand here today, it's a crazy thing, but you can move past all of this. So have a little think. Has anyone said any of these things to you before? But more importantly, is having that awareness for yourself. Am I saying these things to myself? Am I actually holding myself back through a limited belief? And 90% of the actions you take in a day, you're operating from your subconscious mind. And that's where those limited beliefs are actually hiding. So often we don't realise we even have them, but how we're showing up, the actions we're taking, maybe the risks we're not taking, or the opportunities we're turning down, is because of the limited beliefs in that subconscious mind. But the great thing is you can reprogram it. So 12 years ago, I suffered with terrible anxiety. Like, my legs are shaking a little bit right now. I think nerves are good. But I had terrible anxiety. Oh, I'm talking very loud. Terrible anxiety, and I had a lot of regular panic attacks. So I would purposely take myself out of equations where I had to be around people I didn't know, didn't feel comfortable with. I drew back from friends and pulled back from careers, and it just wasn't a great time for me. So I really had to get to work for myself. But yeah, you can absolutely come out the other side. So I'm going to share a little bit with you today. Okay, so let's talk about first some of the things you might say to yourself. So who's ever thought to themselves, oh, that sounds really exciting, but I just don't think I'm good enough, I'm not confident enough, I'm too shy, don't have the skill set, not smart enough. When I was younger, and I'll tell you a story later, but when I was younger, all I cared about was performing arts. So it's lovely being on here. I just want to do a leap across the stage. And I loved doing acting at school, and I loved dancing. But I had such a conscience about my Yorkshire accent and going on and doing drama at university that I left that totally behind. I worried, what if people laughed at my accent? And I went and just became a dancer and went on to dance professionally when I was younger. But how stupid is that? I wasn't proud of that, and now I am. And I just, I let it flow. And it's been such a great thing recently that it actually helped me to get into a local film because they needed a 40-year-old woman with a Yorkshire accent. So I was like, that's me. We've got to be loud and proud about who we are. And I think social media really, I remember social media launching. It is an amazing thing for my businesses, absolutely. But I think for younger girls, and I do worry about, I've got 2 daughters and 2 sons, and I worry about them comparing themselves to others. So I really want them to take personal development on as something from being quite young, because I don't want them comparing themselves. Because the thing is, if you try and be like someone else, you actually lose everything that's special about you, because you become unauthentic. So, how you show up, just always be yourself and be true to yourself, whatever your accent, whatever your background. It doesn't matter what education you've got. And one of my businesses is network marketing. The other one is yoga and mindfulness retreats. And I still do dance workshop days and things like that. But they're my 2 primary businesses. And one of the key things is in network marketing is lifting those women up that maybe didn't get the grades at school, they didn't go on to do anything, and they're just some people are in a place where they don't feel worthy of having more, and it's proving to them that it is absolutely irrelevant where you've come from. And using that adversity and things that you've suffered with in the past, and use that to inspire other people. So I think it would be very rude of me when I have an opportunity to speak in front of people, and I'm probably not the most eloquent speaker, but for someone that suffered with anxiety and panic attacks in the past, it's not about me. It's a nerve-wracking thing to do public speaking. I think it's one of the top things people are scared of in the whole world. I would have run and hid in there 10 years ago. But the thing that switches it around for me, and whatever you do in your life, or whenever you're feeling nervous about something, just say to yourself, this isn't about me, it's about the person that's listening. And if one person can take something away from it and it changes the direction and the actions that they take moving forward, it is worth it. So for anyone who does any type of public speaking, or you want to and you've not taken the plunge yet, even if it's speaking in a local community, come into do an acting workshop here, speaking at church, wherever you find yourselves in your own lives, don't make it about you. Because we all get nervous and we all get those overwhelming butterflies in our tummy, but when you put the focus on supporting someone else, that's when everything changes. So without going too much on a tangent, we can reprogram those beliefs. You're never stuck. That is the key thing. But the first thing you need to do is you need to figure out where it is you want to go. How do you want your life to look? Now, there's going to be a really big mixture of people in the room. We've got men, we've got women, we've got all different age groups, and that is fantastic to see. Some people may own their own businesses. Some of you might be full-time mums. some of you might be in a career, so an employee working for someone else, but hopefully you'll be able to take something away from this, but you're never stuck where you are. So the first thing you really need to get, and in parallel to the vision board workshop going on right now, is you have to have a vision of where you're going. And I've always had a crystal clear vision of how, not exactly how I wanted my life to look, but I've always wanted work-life balance. Absolutely, that was my goal, and I wouldn't give anything up until I'd had that, so I could give my children, all of me, but still be able to provide for them as well, and give them a great lifestyle. So figure out where you want to go, get a clear vision, map it out, because if you don't have a vision of where you want to go, and obviously things are going to get thrown at you, the world in the last few years has been more than any of us could have ever anticipated, and even if you've been quite stable in the last few years, there will have been challenges for everyone. I know for me, a family of 6 being in the house together for 4, 5, 6 months trying to homeschool, that was a challenge, but apart from that we were okay. So it has been a challenging time, so things will come up, but what always gives people hope, I think, is having that vision of where you're going, and it gives you, it's almost like turning the sat nav on. So I want you to think about, are you aimlessly going day to day at the moment, or do you have a vision of where you're going? Plug it into the sat nav, because if we don't use the sat nav and we just decide to kind of take it day by day, often we can take the long way around to get there, we get lost, we end up down a back street somewhere. So get crystal clear and think, where do I want to be a year from now? It might not be a career or a business goal, it might be how you feel in yourself, in your self-confidence. I think that is an amazing goal to have. It might be a health goal, it might be a fitness goal, it might be that you want to study something new and go on a totally different path, but you've got to get clear on where you're going so that you can aim and fire and start to take the actions there. The next thing I would say is always team up action with personal development. You can work and work and work and work, but you will very, very rarely exceed in success of whatever it is you want, unless your personal growth is matching it. Okay, so the person I was 10 years ago couldn't stand here and do this, but to grow the businesses and be able to juggle that and mentally manage that with 4 young children, I had to work on myself as much as I did on gaining the knowledge and doing the actual activity of growing my businesses. So yes, I went off to university, studied dance, absolutely loved it, went to London, worked as a dancer and choreographer, and then moved back up to Beverley and realised there wasn't really any opportunities. I got to the age where I was getting a bit old for the auditions, which was a bit depressing, so I was 26. It's like, oh right, well that's the end of that career. So I studied my PGCE to be a secondary school teacher, teaching like GCSE A-level dance, and did that for a few years and absolutely loved it. What I do now is light years away from what I did then, but I equally love what I do now. And what I've realised is, if you want to live a life that's fulfilling and you want work not to always feel like work, it's got to be in line with your values. So I studied all the jobs that I'd done throughout my life that really kind of filled up my cup as a person. So teaching dance, so watching children, teenagers come in, build up the confidence, do something they never thought they could do. Years later, going into network marketing, working with men and women that didn't think something was possible, and they worked on their personal development and created something outside of the career they already had. And then going on from that, launching my yoga and mindfulness retreats, which I do in the East Riding, where I could take all the tools I've learned and bring in specialists. I know there's lots of specialists here today, such as yoga teachers, therapists, we have gong baths, all of that. We have vegan food, and I bring in all these specialists and put on an event for people so they can get that. So what I realised is when I looked at all of the career choices I've made, the ones that have really fulfilled me and succeeded because they make me happy, they're in line with my values. I like to see people working on themselves, building up their self-worth, and basically feeling inspired. And that's it. So I want you to have a think about, if you feel like you're at a bit of a crossroads at the moment in your business or lifestyle, and maybe you're not feeling as fulfilled as you would like, think, what are my values? What makes me feel good? Because I can promise you there will be a lot of options out there and they can be totally different, but it's got to be in line with your value. My work doesn't feel like work because it is so in line with who I am. And don't be afraid to change. You know, I have failed over and over again with things to figure out what I really do want. And it's never really a failure, it's just a lesson, isn't it? Always look at it as a lesson, not a failure. So moving on, excuse my scruffy notes, trying to write my notes last night with the kids, I was like, oh, go to bed. So what are some of the things that have really helped me? In terms of mindset is everything. You can have all the education and skills in the world, but your mind will sabotage you or it'll serve you. And mine in my mid-20s totally sabotaged me because I didn't know how to deal with panic attacks or anxiety. I wasn't educated on how to look after myself at the time in terms of nutrition and self-care. And it's crazy that that's everything my businesses stand for now, but I had to go through the rough to really see the benefit of everything else. So I'm massively for clean living, holistic therapies, looking after your mindset. I think women, we need to be kinder to ourselves. You don't have to be able to do it all, and nothing needs to be perfect. You know, if you came into my house some days, you'd think there'd been a tornado with the children. But I'm a massive believer in taking messy action rather than not taking action at all. It would have been so easy, and I was chatting with my friend Amanda on the way here, it would have been so easy for me to say no to doing this today because it wasn't enough time. How was I going to write 45 minutes of my head, the chimp brain could have easily kicked in, and it probably would have done 5-6 years ago, but because of personal development, it didn't. And I thought, do you know what, I'd rather take messy action than not do it at all and regret it. So absolutely, always go for the messy action over not taking it. And, if you might be judged for it, you might not, but you've just got to feel like you're staying true to yourself, haven't you? So things that have massively changed my life, really, because they've changed the way I feel about myself, are these tools. So the first one, does anybody in the room use affirmations? Yeah, brilliant. I think most of you probably do. You just maybe don't know what they are yet. So affirmations is basically a positive statement about ourselves. So I am confident, I am an inspiring speaker, I am working towards my goals every day, I am committed, I am open, all of these types of things. So if you find that you're someone that has maybe a little bit of a negative inner voice, that was me, I would always be the smiliest, chattiest, positive person, but people would have no idea how I was speaking to myself. And sadly, a lot of people speak to themselves how they wouldn't speak to their own worst enemy. You're useless, you can't do that, you're not good enough, they're going to think you sound stupid. Like all these things we say to ourselves. So I want you to not judge and beat yourself up if you have that type of inner voice, because I've been there and it still creeps in sometimes. But what I want you to do is start catching yourself. And the first step to a personal growth journey is having that awareness, like, that's interesting. Why am I beating myself up about that? That's clearly not serving me. So take the negative statements you maybe feel about yourself and flip them. Okay, so if you feel maybe, some people might call themselves lazy, or, I'm just lazy and I procrastinate a lot. Turn it around, I am open to new opportunities that are going to drive me and keep me motivated every single day. And I don't believe in the whole lazy and procrastinating things. Like, I have some days where I feel really, I just want to get under a duvet and watch Netflix. But I think that's just because you're not inspired by something in your life at that time. You will quite naturally have more energy when you've got something exciting and purposeful going on. So it's probably not that you're a lazy person, and don't ever label yourself anything negative. Just think, why is that? Maybe I'm just not feeling inspired in what I'm doing. Maybe I need to, open the horizons. And there's 3 things that actually I took away from a film on Netflix a few years ago, and it was called Happy, and it's not on there now, sadly. But they spoke about humans and the 3 things we crave the most as humans to feel happy is community, contribution, and purpose. So community, contribution, and purpose. And if you feel like any of those three are missing in your life right now, I would say actively go to work to find some of that, because it gives you such more of a fulfilling life. So community, we lost our community during the pandemic. So many of us were isolated. I have a community, and actually, if anyone's interested, just message me on social media, and I will send you a free link. But I have an online community, it's absolutely free as well, where we can plug into Zoom calls every morning, and mindset coaches take us through meditation, gratitude lists, we do a bit of reading a personal development book, we jump up, we dance and we energise the body, we have some education, and all different things like this. So that community has always kept me going. It's something we've done for years online, and there's hundreds of us now. But community is a powerful thing. Contribution. I think nothing feels better than knowing that you're helping someone else. It does. So go out of your way, even if it's charity work, volunteering. There's so many people doing amazing things at the moment in terms of donations and supporting Ukraine. Just find something that feels good to you that you can run with, and purpose. Having a purpose, and I think that comes back to, why do you do what you do? So the first thing I do when people come into my business, or if someone contacted me for any advice with starting a business, would say, well, let's start with the why. What is going to get you out of bed in the morning? Because that's the first thing. You've got to have the vision of where you're going. You've got to think big as well with it. Don't ever think small. Always think bigger and then go bigger again. But why are you doing it? So for me, having 4 children in the last 10 years, I don't even know how we've done it now. When you look back and you think, wow, I've got a lot of sleep to catch up on. But the last decade has been amazing, but it's been hard work. So there have been many times where I would have thought, actually, I'm not going to do any work on my business. So I'm just going to, I'm not going to bother about that because I'm exhausted and I'm tired. But then I always go back to my why. Why is it important? Because I want to never have to, go back and work for anyone else again. I want to have choices. I want them to have choices when they're older. So always start with your why. Why power is very, very important. And discipline. So it's a scientifically proven now. I don't know how they tested this, but that motivation only lasts for 48 hours. It's not a long time, is it? So you're probably going to leave here today, and you're going to go to the workshops, and you're going to hear some talks, and you're going to be like, yes, I'm buzzing, I'm going to take on the world, and you'll have this big plan of what's going to happen, and then 2 days later, you might go back to your job, and then you're watching TV, and then you just forget about it. The motivation literally is gone after 48 hours. So we have to, what's the difference between someone who's staying in the same place or someone that's moving forward? And it's the fact that the person that's moving forward, it has got discipline. Okay. So discipline sounds like a really boring word, but actually it's a very sexy word because discipline is everything. Motivation, you can talk and say all these things you're going to do, but that will go, I promise you, the motivation will go, especially if you've got young children. They're going to demand, they're going to want you, they're going to need you. It's like, oh yeah, I've got no time for that. But discipline is everything. And it's just the tiny little baby steps that you do every day, whether that's working on your business, working towards, a degree. It's hard because everyone's doing, I don't know what anyone does in this room really, but you get what I mean. It's about those tiny baby steps and just moving forward in the right direction. So it's not about overwhelming yourself, it's just doing a little bit each day. And the people you surround yourself with, massively important. Again, it's been proven that we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So financially, confidence levels, success, mood, attitude, all of that. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, which is funny for me because I spend most of my time with 4 little kids, so it's keeps me young. But I do consciously spend a lot of time listening to podcasts, reading personal development books, plugging in with my community on Zoom every morning. So, women that weren't always that way, but they're feeling empowered, they're confident, they're successful, they care, they're heart-led leaders, like people that I would aspire to be like. Spend time with those, but quite often, maybe the people closest to you are not the best example. You can't choose always, especially if it's work colleagues or maybe family that you don't get on with. So go out of your way to create a community, whether it is just a podcast that you listen to every morning, that is going to lift you to that higher place, because your energy is everything. Without going too woohoo on you, as some might say, I'm always reading about law of attraction, massive believer in law of attraction, only because I've seen myself use it against myself and for myself once I learned to understand it. So your energy is everything, who you spend time with, what you read, what you fuel your body with, everything is either lifting your energetic field up or down. And the more you can be feeling in that positive place, obviously the more you can pour out into other people, which is important, especially if you lead a team or you've got a family or you're someone in the community. But also the more good feelings you can feel, the more you're going to attract those good things into your life. So you probably had those days where you might get out of bed and you stub your toe and you trip over something, and then you're in a real mood and the whole day just starts to kind of tumbleweed going downhill. Well, it can also work the other way. So how you start your day is massively important and impactful. The first 20 minutes of the day is when your subconscious mind is at its most impressionable state. The first 20 minutes when you wake up. So you can be really honest now, because I've been on both sides of the plane, but put your hand up if maybe first thing you do in the morning is pick up your phone and maybe check social media. Yeah? Okay, you're not in trouble. Okay, let me think. Who puts the news on in the morning? Okay, yeah. So what I'd like you to think about moving forward is, if your subconscious mind is most impressionable in the first 20 minutes, maybe have a look at those 20 minutes and think, could I just wait half an hour before I pick up my phone and look at social media, or I turn the news on? Because what you're doing is, you are opening your mind up to whatever it's going to throw at you, and you have no control over that. The news will never be good news, that's for sure. So the first thing you're filling your subconscious mind with is fear, hate, anxiety. Are they the type of feelings you want to carry on through your day? Because it will. If you imagine, if I woke up and spent the first 20 minutes of my day watching the news, then my kids get out of bed, how I would react with them, I'd probably be fearing for their life. I'd be anxious, I'd be overwhelmed, I'd be snappy. That would then roll into their day, dropping them off at school, what's wrong with mum today, that type of thing. It would roll into my day. Would I feel like speaking to my clients? Would I feel like posting on social media? And then maybe my husband coming in from work. Like, it impacts your whole day. And if you're continuously doing that, that can add up to a bad week or a bad month. So just think about those first 20 minutes. How can you switch that up? And again, I can send you links to the free community we have, which is the Be Well Club. But how about starting the day at something simple as silence? Make yourself a nice drink, sit and have some silence, pick up a personal development book. For me, and this might not be for everyone, for you, you might want to put your trainers on and go for a run. I'm not really into running, but a bit of yoga and meditation puts me in the best mood for the day. And I'm just, my husband always says, how are you just cool as a cucumber? Like, people look and think, she must have the most stressful, crazy life. And it could be, but because I look after this, and I do a little bit consistently each day, it doesn't always tend to overwhelm and bubble up. So you've got to keep filling your cup up. So maybe from tomorrow think, how am I going to do this differently? And try it for a week, and then look how different you feel. And then add little things in, because you are literally 2 or 3 habits away from feeling a totally different person, and it'll impact and it'll roll out into all areas of your life. So it might be just, don't check the phone. Also, who hits snooze in the room? Does anyone hit snooze a few times? Yeah, I think over 75% of people actually hit it 4 times. So another little thing, and do you know why I like learning the science behind these things? I think it's because when you understand the science behind it, you're more likely to stop doing it, isn't it? Because you realise what an effect it's having on you. But actually, when we snooze for 5 more minutes, our brain can go back into that sleep pattern, and then when it goes off again 5 minutes later, it can take up to 3 hours for your brain to fully come back round and be functioning. So that is impacting the whole half of your day. The first 3 hours of your day, you're most productive anyway. So these are the slight different habits of people that seem to be getting loads done. You've probably seen the quote about Beyonce. Like, how does Beyonce do all that and live that life? Because it's habits, it's success habits, how you start your day, what you're feeding your mind with, what you're fueling your body with. Part of what I do is I support people with their mind, body, skin. So everything. I like to see everything is connected, absolutely. But what you put in your body. So I don't know if anyone knows anything about gut health, and this is very basic, but there is a nerve that runs from your gut straight up to the brain. So all those years I was struggling with anxiety and panic attacks, not once did I think, maybe what I'm eating could be affecting this. Maybe going out on a weekend and drinking alcohol is not actually making me feel better, even though it feels like it's an escape at the time. So the vagus nerve runs straight from the gut to the brain. So equally what you fuel your body with and what you fuel your mind with daily is important. And well over, I'm not sure what the exact figure is, but well over 70% of your serotonin, which is your happy hormone, is not made in the brain, it's made in your gut. Okay, so little things like starting your day off with a nutritious breakfast or a smoothie, and making sure you're getting all the vitamins and minerals you need, that will make a huge difference in your mood and your energy and everything. So yeah, if anyone's got questions about any of that, obviously just reach out to me, or for book recommendations or anything like that. So I will do a little bit of a Q&A in a minute. I just want to kind of finish off with a little story. So obviously I'm 39 now, left school when I was 18 and went on, and that was it, started my career. So recently I did something that was very out of the blue, and me and Amanda were giggling about it on the way here, and strangely a sponsored ad from Instagram popped up on my feed for a casting for a film. And I was like, haven't acted since I was 18. It just been off my radar. I wasn't even looking, but it was a sponsored ad, so somehow it found me. And it was a story about a gentleman who got diagnosed with the same cancer that I lost my uncle to. My uncle was a massive inspiration for me. He was the one that always encouraged me, and he bought me my first keyboard and piano books and was just like, do you know what, just go for it. Whatever you want to do, just go for it. Don't get mixed up with the wrong people. It was a massive influence in my life. So I got intrigued reading this script. And then I saw there was a casting for a 40-year-old Yorkshire woman. I was like, oh, applied for it. Wasn't sure if I'd get it. I just almost forgot about it. I laughed about it. My husband was like, what are you doing now? It's so random. And I got the part. And I was chatting to some friends about it, and I said, am I having a midlife crisis? Is this what's happening? And she went, it's not a midlife crisis, Michelle. You just don't care anymore. You're just deciding to do what you want. If it feels good, do it, and not worry about what anyone thinks. I said, oh, yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. So I know we've got lots of different ages in the room, but what I'm saying is don't get to my age. I can see younger people sat at the back. Don't get to my age and then decide, actually, why not? Why can't I do that? Just do it now. Just do it now. And it's easier said than done, isn't it? Like, not to worry about what other people think. Definitely easier to say that. But I promise you, if you can bring some personal development into your life and build up your own self-worth, you will stop caring, and you'll stay true to yourself and follow your own goals. So I would like to quickly, I know you're all going to hate me now, I'm not going to make anyone speak, but is there a few people that would mind coming on the stage? I just want to do a little bit of a physical exercise to demonstrate the power of vision of where you're going. If I was sat there, I'd be like, no. Yeah, brilliant. Oh, thank you. Yeah, two is fine, unless anyone else wants to come join us. I just thought it'd be quite fun to do this. Don't worry, it's nothing scary. Do you want to just stand here? I'm just going to spin this around as well.
So this is actually an exercise. No, if you stand up, that'd be great. So this is an exercise that I saw Tony Robbins do. Does anyone know who Tony Robbins is? Yeah, really. Yeah, I love Tony Robbins. And it's an exercise, a physical one that you can do yourself, and it's based around vision and using visualization. Visualization I use all the time, especially when I was a dancer, performer. The people that will come and perform on this stage as actors, they will be visualizing the best outcome of that evening. Okay, you never want to be visualizing the worst thing possible happening, always the best outcome. Professional athletes as well, always visualizing that, you know, that perfect run or that perfect race. But it's incredible how the mind can hold you back. So it's a really simple exercise. All I want you to do, ladies.
You're not going to make us sing, are you? I said to Michelle on the way back, I've not seen Michelle have for a while.
No.
And I said on my bucket list is to sing on stage, but I am not doing it today. Because I need to learn to sing first, and I've just joined a choir, so this is good practice.
Next year. So all I want you to do is just literally lift your arm up in front of your body. You can point your finger. Maybe just focus on a chair so you don't get too distracted by people. And just turn the arm around as far as you're comfortable going around to the back, heading to the right. That's it. And then when you're comfortable there, just stop. Okay, wonderful. Okay, now bring the arm back round and lower it to the side. That's it. So you can just stand normally now. And just close your eyes down just so you can really focus on this. So you're not going to move the body in any way. You're just going to do this visually in your mind. So in your mind's eye, I want you to lift the arm up and turn it to the back, and this time you've gone a little bit further than you did the first time. And then you bring it back round to the front and then relax down the side. Okay, we're going to do that again. So in our mind's eye, we're lifting the arm up to the front and we're going round. Focus about that.
Sorry.
Taking the arm round.
I'm not supposed to be doing this with my
No, just in your mind.
That's right, okay.
Yeah, just in your mind. Yeah, so we're lifting the arm up. And we're taking it round, and it's gone even further than you ever thought it could go. And then we're just going to bring it back round to the front. And last time we're lifting the arm up and we're taking it round, and it's gone even further than the last two times. Okay, so now I want you to lift your arm up. You can open your eyes, and we're going to do it physically this time. Lift your arm up and take it round as far as you can go. Yes, look at that. 45 degrees far.
That's weird.
Yeah, well, you can go sit down. Thank you. So yeah, a really, really simple exercise, but hopefully, got a nice video of my nose. Hopefully that just shows you that you are capable of so much more than what you're currently thinking. So, you know, try that for yourself. Try it with your children. A nice exercise to do with them to show them that they can do more and they're capable of doing that. And you can find Tony Robbins on YouTube if you want to watch that as well. So yeah, just to kind of wrap things up, I think the world does need a lot more female leaders. I think the world would be a great place with more female leaders. And whatever it is that you do in your life, I just want you to think to yourself, why not me? And why not me? Rather than looking at someone else and comparing or judging, why not me? Because you can, whatever it is. And if you want to come and grab me today and come and have a chat with me, but yeah, just get clear on where do you want to go? What is the vision for your life? Maybe a year from now, maybe 10 years from now, whatever that is, get clear on your vision. Create things like vision boards. I've got a vision board in my bedroom, so it's the last thing I see before I go to sleep, and the first thing I see in the morning. Great motivator. And also, when you've got a clear vision of something, you start noticing people and opportunities that you probably would have walked straight past before. It's because you've got your eye on the prize. So, vision. And then we've got DMO. What is your DMO? Daily method of operation. How am I going to start my mornings? What are the few little steps I have to take each day to move me towards my goal? Don't overwhelm yourself with suddenly 20 new habits that you want to do in one day, because you'll just think, oh no, that's too much. Start small. Don't put the news on or go on Facebook as soon as you wake up. But please protect your mindset at all costs. You can come back to that later once you've almost
form that protective bubble around you so you can handle what the day throws at you. Do more of what feels good to you. So whether that is spending time with family, maybe it's a hobby you've got, maybe it's painting, do more of it, because the more you're feeling good, the more you're going to enjoy your life. And I think, if anything, the last few years it has taught me that yes, it is great to have goals, but also don't always feel like you have to be striving to change yourself. You don't need to change. You're perfect, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to build on that and almost, flourish with what you've already got. Don't need to be like anyone else. But yeah, know that you can do anything and that you're worthy of it. And I think that's it from me. Does anyone have any questions? I've got a few minutes. Yes, yeah, go.
What does your first 20 minutes of your day look like?
Okay, so I use the Be Well Club, which I can send a link to anyone. But before the Be Well Club was a thing, I was encouraged by one of my mentors who, I admired her because she was a busy mum. She had a very successful business, but she had the balance. And I was like, yeah, that's what I see for myself. And she said, read a personal development book, 10 pages a day. So you could do that morning or night, but you can bookend your day in a positive way. I love meditation. I love Kundalini. First I thought it was the weirdest thing ever, and then I started to feel the benefits. So I might do a 5-minute meditation, some Kundalini yoga. The thing is, you can't judge yourself when it doesn't happen, especially if you've got young children. There's a lot of times where I'd maybe get a minute into something and then the kid wakes up and it's Mama! And it would go out the window, and I had to almost just let that go. I started getting up earlier as well, going to bed earlier, getting up earlier, so I could have at least half an hour in a silent house, just with myself, bit of meditation, bit of reading, nice herbal tea, and then, you're ready for the day.
So do you log on to the Be Well Club every morning?
Yes, yeah. So that's at 6:30. So, and we have it on demand as well, so if you want to get up later, you can watch it later. But I can send that out to anyone. It used to be a charge, but it's free now. And we have a personal growth book club and all that type of stuff. So just come and find me on, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. So I'm everywhere, so just come and find me. But has anyone got any more questions? Yes?
What book and what podcast would you recommend?
Ooh, so it depends what your can you hear me okay with the microphone? It depends what you're wanting to work on. Book-wise, I love Super Attractor by Gabby Bernstein, which is around the law of attraction. That's really good. I also love The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. That really makes you aware of your inner voice. It almost makes you chuckle listening to it. It's like, oh gosh, that's me. I say that a lot. And The Chimp Paradox, which is more of a science-based book. But my brain used to hijack me a lot. You can't do that, don't be silly. What will people think? So The Chimp Paradox, if you feel like you speak to yourself and you stop yourself doing things, read that book and then read more psychology books so that you can almost bypass the chimp, so it doesn't sabotage you and just get straight to, you were making the right decision. Podcast-wise, I do listen to quite a few around network marketing, but I love Amanda Francis. She is more money mindset, but she's quite a spiritual entrepreneur as well. So Amanda Francis, and I do have a full book list on my website. So maybe I could send a full book list of books I love and send that, and you can pop that out for everyone that way. Because there's so many. Should we take one more question? Yeah.
When did you feel your business will be successful?
When did I feel?
Yeah.
I think from the beginning. So now I've had some businesses that weren't successful, definitely. What I would say is, looking back, is use your body as like a navigation system. I launched some businesses when I was younger and it didn't feel right. It felt icky. It didn't fit well, and I didn't feel good doing it, and so it wasn't in line with me, and obviously it didn't work out for that reason. So I think I knew I was going to be successful with my network marketing and with my yoga and mindfulness retreats, because I knew I was serving people in a positive way. I was helping people with their mindset, their health, their skin, and all of that side. And so it felt good. And I think if something feels good to you and you feel like it's flowing and you're taking inspired action, rather than, you know, when you have, sometimes I've been in a job when I'm younger and you have to get up and you have to go to work, but you don't want to. I think you know when a business is going to succeed, because if you're taking inspired action and it feels good, you're going to keep doing what you need to do. And what I would say is just find a community, even if it's people today, accountability partners to cheer each other on. There's always hard days, or there's bias, or there's people that don't quite get what you're doing, and that's fine, but you need to, you know, have a little hub of people that will keep you going. So yeah, I would say it was more of a feeling of, yeah, this is me now. Like a flow. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Thank you.
That's okay. But yeah, thank you for listening to me. And enjoy the rest of the day.